the important topic. Which group I think would be better for them to actually add? As in, if they want to continue doing Relink.
Mm-hmm.
Which I kind of feel like would be a missed opportunity if they didn't, but, I'm not the executives in charge of that shit, so.
And, well, it's not really like Cygames has any shortage of money to throw at whatever,
Oh god, with how the...
thanks to all those gotcha sales they've got going.
With Grand Blue, holy fuck, they must be making a shit ton of money. Because after playing Grand Blue, I'm just going to tell you right now, they save a lot of money on those sprites.
Yeah.
Holy shit, they save a lot of fucking money. This is not like Wuthering or Genshin, where there's actually some dough being put into the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It is unironically 2D sprites that are basically pseudo-chibi. And dangerously close to pixel art. I would not be surprised if the sprites during turn-based gameplay cost just as much as the splash art. that they use during, the actual story segment. There's a reason why I consider it a narrative game with a turn-based mechanic.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Also, it's really sad, too. Because they can make some really good models during the combat. It's just exclusively the bosses.
Yeah, of course.
Which hurts even more, because sometimes in the story, the bosses are characters you can play as. Like, comparing Monica and, what's her name? Lucia? Something like that. Comparing their boss fight aesthetic versus what you get. Let's not talk about it. Oh, let's also not talk about how it is for Sandy. That also hurts greatly.
I'd imagine.
Oh my god, it hurts. He looks so fucking cool in that boss fight. Oh my god, he looks so cool. Also, I kind of prefer his normal armor. Like, his original armor. It does look dangerously close to Lancelot's, though. So I can kind of see the change. Like, with how the arms are. It's rather similar to Lancelot's. Except for the heels. He does not drop the heels.
Yep.
Angel Twink must have his hooker heels. In all forms.
They're just a part of who he is.
Exactly. But, yeah, his current look is far closer to Lucifer than original Sandy. Especially with how the arms are. But anyway, I would say there would be two good options, group-wise, for if they wanted to continue past this. If they wanted to keep up the theming that they currently have going on, just go for the Archangels. First off, all of them have pretty solid characters that are interesting. If you want to just stick with, like, the four main elements for the sake of minimal character development time, essentially. Because there is technically 6, Sandy being light. But let's not get into that right now. All 4 of them have solid characters. Gabriel is actually kind of similar to Rosetta, character-wise. She's very sly, is how I'll phrase it. So basically, with Rosetta, your first encounter with her is basically her LARPing as a normal person. I don't actually know which chapter you find out that she's a primal beast, because for reasons I had to skip a shit ton of them. Look, I really wanted Galleon in a bikini, okay?
All right.
And I will have you know she has been an excellent addition to my wind team. It is remarkably more survivable, and hits harder.
Okay, then.
Because for some reason, putting the Earth Dragon in a swimsuit makes it a wind character. Don't question it.
It never pays to question what the Japanese do.
No, it really doesn't. Oh my god. Holy fuck. There are so many instances with that.
There really are.
No, okay, excluding everything outside of Gran, just in Gran Blue so far. Oh my god. For some reason, one of the main archetypes for like mid-level monster is half-naked woman.
Of course.
And yes, they're monsters. No, they're not people. They just look like women. Because for some reason, a mandrake is a half-naked woman with a mushroom on its head.
Okay.
And the jellyfish woman. And I think there are two others. There's also just the literal glowing rock. And then you go from people using swords and spears to fighting a mechanized Gatling gun monster. Also, apparently fighting things on the moon is a relatively common occurrence.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, if we ever get bored of the islands, we can occasionally just go to the fucking moon.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just what the society does on its weekends.
It's one way to spend your weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of monsters that they have to fight and research. And also they keep trying to steal their tech.
Huh.
Or something like that. I need to go through the society's side quests. Side stories, whatever. Anyway, for characters... For let's say we care about the characterization of the added units. Gabrielle has something kind of similar to Rosetta going on character-wise. Uriel's kind of a meathead. He's the Earth one, and he takes after that. He's not for sophisticated plans. Let's put it like that. He's what happens when you need to throw a brick at a problem. A really, really effective brick. And that can basically block anything. But a brick. Planning is not his forte. That's more Gabrielle and Raphael's area. Gabrielle, again, she's a little bit more sly, more cunning. Because apparently she's an orc. She's a Warhammer orc now. She traumatized Cagliostro. Evidently, the Gabrielle Express is one where you need to hold on to it and kind of just hope that it continues holding on to you. Okay, Cagliostro did not want to find out what was at the bottom of the sky, especially
Yep.
not the hard way or the long way. Raphael's a loner. He does not like talking
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Yep.
He he pulls a Kratos in Ragnarok. Minimum words, maximum effect. I will not explain anything of what I'm doing to you. Just trust that it won't blow up in our faces.
Yep.
He is the reason why Sandalphon got a face full of ship in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the wind guy, very very free spirited. Does what he wants. He'll listen to you, mind you. It's not like he's just fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I've got my own plan. I'm gonna go do it now. Good luck with whatever it is you're doing. If you need
Yep.
help, call. That's essentially how he is. And then there's Michael. She's the one that you interact with the most. She is exactly what you would expect from the Archangel of Fire. Hot-headed, impulsive, rush forward and deal with your problems with brute power first, strategy second. She is also probably the one who is the fondest of the normal humies. She also nearly compromises a character's relationship. There's... This is actually something that Grand Blue does correct. There are women in the crew on Grand Ship that have relationships with a man that is not Gran.
Oh, that's actually impressive.
I know! Mind you, that's, I can't really confidently say that that's the case for most of them, but
Yeah, but still.
it's applicable to some, which is more than what I can say about damn well every other gacha I've played.
Uh-huh.
Because all of them are main character sexual, apparently.
Yep.
It's actually kind of tiring. You can only give me girlfriend archetypes so often before I stop giving a shit.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's different flavors of the same bitch. This one uses a greatsword, so different from the one that's exactly the same but uses a spear. Anyhow, with that in mind, Michael, woman, by the way,
Of course.
so is Gabrielle. At least that name kind of makes sense to me as, feminine.
Yeah.
That one I at least get.
That one can work.
Not biblically accurate, but we're not going to get into that.
No, that never matters.
That doesn't matter. It's a Japanese gacha. Names are suggestions. Lucifer didn't fall in this world. Instead, he was killed.
Yep.
He was killed by Beelzebub. I guess it's not exactly inaccurate. Anyway, yeah, the first interaction Gran and crew have with Gabrielle is her smothering some poor urine boy who just nearly died protecting her from Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
his protection was not that effective, mind you. She still lost her wings. He
Yep.
nearly died,
Hmm.
and Sandy got away.
Yep.
But they all were alive at the end, and his reward were head pats and getting smothered between her tits.
Of course.
Which, unfortunately for him, was actually rather inconvenient and unwelcome, as his girlfriend walked in at exactly that time.
Hmm.
Mostly because they found him as he was desperately crying for help while being smothered between the angel woman's tits. And getting head pats. Although also in a refreshing twist of fate, the girlfriend does not immediately beat the shit out of the man, despite the
Wow.
fact that this is a Japanese game. I mean, she's cross,
Hmm.
but she's just like, what's going on? What the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
And he's actually allowed to explain. It was a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
And
Quite some
Michael
drastic
also
improvements.
explained, he helped me. I am quite grateful for this. It was quite valiant. So, character-wise, I think all of them could work. Unlike the dragons, I don't actually know what they do in-game.
Hmm.
Also, unlike the dragons, I think it would be a lot easier to implement them. I mean, wing-wise, you could just do what they did with Sandy. I think that would be kinda lazy, personally, but, you know. It is what it is. Also, all of them are actually pretty high up on the totem pole as far as, you know, how functional they are.
Hmm.
Partially because they have a passive that basically makes it so that all of your weapon effects are just 20% better. And I'm pretty sure it replaces the one that is given by their weapon, which means
Hmm.
that you don't have to put that weapon into your weapon slot. So instead of using up one of your precious stat and passive effect slots on the obligatory, your element does more anti that element damage, you can have one of your precious character slots be used for that purpose instead. Which, unironically, is actually probably preferable.
Hmm.
Also, it's not confirmed in game, but I am personally convinced that Zero is in fact an interdimensional demon, and or the Archangel of Commerce, because this bitch is everywhere, all the time.
Hmm.
A very common line she uses is, "I am everywhere and nowhere." And just says this directly to your face. And after about the third time, they just stopped questioning it. They just stopped
Yeah.
questioning the magic toddler and
Yeah.
just accepted the golden goose that is its existence. Um, I will say between the archangels and the dragons, I'm kind of partial to the dragons. Although I will concede a part of that is because I actually have two of the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have something. I've also looked at what their kits do, so I actually have an idea as to how they work
Yep.
and what you could do in-game. But, character-wise, I think they would struggle on the Earth end because Galleon talks weird. I don't know how it actually is, but with what things I have read, it always depicts her as speaking in like one word. And then there's a bubble of like freaky text, and I'm not sure if that's like supposed to signify basically a telepathy being used or what.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like how she'll talk is she'll just say blessing, and then she'll death grip the captain and kiss him. And then there'll be like an actual sentence or three of elaboration onto what is going on. And yes, she does the aforementioned blessing quite frequently.
Huh.
The Earth Dragon really likes kissing. She blesses everything that is on the boat. And blessing does mean kiss. Not, mind you, not necessarily romantically or, on the lips. It's just like peck on forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the cheek or something. More mother, less lover.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Narmaya gets jealous. Because she's a coward. No, I'm not making that up. That's actually what happens in Summer Galleon's Fate episode. Narmaya sees Galleon kiss Gran, and then gets all huffy. Not, mind you, not because Galleon, not specifically because Galleon kissed Gran, but because she's jealous that she doesn't have the cojones to do it herself. Despite the fact that both of them sneak into his bed at night and then use him as a body pillow. Which, yes, is something they both do frequently. And yet somehow they've never, like, crossed paths doing that. Somehow they've never done it on the same day. I don't get how that works, but yeah, Narmaya and Galleon, both of them just break into Gran's room in the middle of the night and then proceed to sleep with him. Again, not romantically, just like share the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Which might not necessarily be Narmaya's end goal, but with her it's honestly kind of hard to tell. She kind of flips-flops. Anyhow, I think Galleon would be the only one that's actually hard because of the weird talking.
Mm-hmm.
It would sound kind of weird during play. Most likely. I'm sure they'd be able to implement it. I'm quite partial to Wilnus, who is the fire dragon. What would you expect the draconic embodiment of fire to behave like? One of the most
rather prideful.
One of the most powerful beings in reality is literally a pillar of reality, is the physical embodiment of fire, and is a dragon, who takes the form of a human who is the size of a male giraffe. and has the dress sense of a urine. Meaning not much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. I don't think there's a lick of pride in his body.
Huh.
And I mean that in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
He's remarkably humble. Unironically, after his materialization, he's just like, I'm trying to run a goddamn soup kitchen as an apology for the people I sorta kinda incinerated the housing of. Because when the six dragons materialized, they sorta kinda accidentally irradiated the areas that they materialized in.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really have a say in the matter, but it's like, well shit, I feel kinda bad. I kind of incinerated half of the island. So yeah, he runs a soup kitchen. The draconic embodiment of fire runs a soup kitchen.
Good for him.
Yeah! His cooking's also shit.
Of course.
And there's actually a good reason for this. They're mortal forms. They're not their actual bodies. They're just like a shrunk down vessel, essentially. They're an imitation.
Mm-hmm.
And they really struggle with coexistence, because when you're a literal pillar of the fabric of reality, you have quite a bit of physical power.
Yep.
That's actually a running theme with him, Galleon, and probably the other dragons. During their Fate episodes, they actually put a fair amount of emphasis on how you really shouldn't be having any of the six dragons do delicate work.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will just accidentally destroy everything. Unironically, for Galleon, the event that they use to highlight this is they're preparing fish, a really rare, really tasty fish, and as Galleon's working on her part, she puts just a little too much force, and it's just turned to mashed potatoes. And it's not like the fish is weak either. Like, it's a robust beast.
Mm-hmm.
And she just, while she's cutting it, like cutting it into steaks,
Mm-hmm.
she just turns the entire segment that she has her hands on into paste. And then for Wilness's case, he describes it as following: I could drink water and lava back to back and notice no difference. That's their level of sensory.
Mm-hmm.
He could go from walking through a frozen tundra to bathing in a lake of lava, and it wouldn't feel any different to him. And evidently that scale of resistance also affects their taste buds, which is why he's not a very good cook.
Yep.
He uses a piece of cat jerky to showcase this, because he eats it. And then the others explain, yeah, that's a kind that does not have a lot of salt, it's just really dry. See, it's because the cat is so tiny, it can't have as much salt as we would put in, like, human jerky. And he's just like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you that it didn't have enough salt. All of their senses are essentially muted. But also probably hyper-aware in equal amounts. Like, refined sensory
Mm-hmm.
is evidently incredibly dulled. Because, I mean, if you're so powerful that you can just accidentally eradicate an island, how much restraint is that going to require throughout your day-to-day life? he sneezes too hard and he levels an island.
Mhm.
Which is actually pretty fitting, given his ult is literally just him turning into a dragon, and does kind of look like he just really powerfully sneezes. He turns into a dragon, goes on his hind legs, looks up, and then just death laser.
Mhm.
And it does kind of look like he's just sneezing on the enemy. Anyway, he's remarkably humble, and throughout his Fate mission, it's basically just the team teaching him how to properly cook. And they actually take the whole fire motif, and it's a really nice change of pace. Because he has a ton of burning passion, but it's for self-improvement and just doing more.
Mhm.
And he's constantly laying praise on the Skyfarers and like, God, you fuckers are geniuses. How do you come up with this shit? It's a very nice change of pace for the whole, fire elemental.
Mhm.
You would think prideful, uh, impulsive, aggressive, and those other things. Sometimes maybe, like, associate it with healing, because, like, Phoenix is, and the whole, the healing process does actually generate quite a bit of heat.
Sure.
So, I can see, seeing a healer motif out of a fire elemental, I can see that just as much as the burn everything to the ground motif.
Mhm.
Because, like, cooking, the warmth of life, the healing that is literally happening as life exists and heals itself and so on and so forth. Also, like the hearth, that kind of thing. Cheerleader was not chief amongst my expectations, but that's actually not far off of how Wilness behaves in a lot of cases. Also, all 6 of them can just teleport.
Yep.
They can just open a portal to wherever. And they just do. They don't fly. They're too good for that. They just open portals. And yes, other people can go through them.
Mhm.
Very convenient. Not so much for, locating them, but fortunately, usually like 1 or 2 of them are with Gran at any given time anyway, so, that's not really a problem. Does make a lot of instances kind of hard to believe, though, because, I mean, what's Sandy going to be doing for most of his days? Like, how often is he actually leaving the boat? And sure, yeah, most of the dragons are probably not on the boat, but are you really going to tell me Galleon is off dilly-dallying anywhere else? You practically have to get a crowbar to get her off of Gran at any given time. You telling me she's not on the boat? That's a minor grievance, admittedly, but still.
Mhm.
It's hard to believe things are that much of a threat when I know full well that there are literal world superpowers just chilling in their barracks.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're down there, motherfucker. Wake up! Hell is invading. We don't have that problem early on, but
Yeah, but as you start to
But
collect more of these, all-powerful beings.
But
Uh,
there's not even the excuse for, like, Galleon or like the Archangels, specifically. Like, for
mhm.
Sandalphon, I don't have the excuse that I would have for the other four. Because with the other four, they're actually living, like, normal human lives now. They gave up their wings. Their original purview, that's just in the hands of fate now. They gave that shit up. Now you can't blame Gabriel because the water's off. It's just decided to be funky that week.
Mhm.
So I can excuse all four of them not being around all the time because they're off doing their thing, being normal humies.
Yep.
Normal humies, I can just decide that they're going to regain their basically god powers and, destroy you in their particular elemental goo, but semantics.
Sure.
They don't really do that frequently, presumably. But Sandy literally joins your crew, and he's always there, like almost always. He is the
Mhm.
supreme Primarch. He has inherited Lucilius's powers. And everyone else's.
Yep.
And you're telling me he's just chilling in the barracks while literally hell is invading Earth? Like, wake up, coffee boy! Anyway. I'm sure there's a reason. Anyway, so in-game, Wilness functions very simply. All things, well, he would be simple in Relink.
Mhm.
So his normal function is he has enhanced basic attacks, which basically just means they hit really hard.
Yep.
Also, he's incapable of doing multi-attacks. So he can only punch them once. Everyone else, well, outside of the other characters who have a similar effect, they can hit up to 3 times with their normal. He doesn't get that.
Mhm.
He just punches them once. But he follows it up with his skill. One of his skills. Which is a
Mhm.
big fuck-off single target screw you.
Nice.
That gives him a massive attack buff, and gives him 20% charge gauge. So you use that 5 times, and you have ult.
Mhm.
And yes, that is disconnected from the cooldown of the skill. Also, a trend with the dragons, they have 2 attack skills, and then they have a passive skill.
Right.
For Wilness and Galleon, they have the better version, where it is a passive attached to them. Fidel and the light guy, the dark and light dragons, they have
Mhm.
the worst version because it's a field effect. Basically what that means is you only use it when you're fighting the hard thing.
Mhm.
Because the second the screen moves on from scene 1 to scene 2, like when you go from battle scene 1 to battle scene 2 to battle scene 3, yeah, the field
Yeah.
effects don't stick around through the entire encounter. Just that wave. This isn't a problem for the boss fights or the raids, because it's just the one thing.
Mhm.
It's a little inconvenient for the other things, though.
Yep.
Fortunately, the field effects aren't, auto cast, so you can just full auto the playthrough and it won't waste them.
Mhm.
But anyway, Wilness is passive, increases his defense. It It makes it more likely for him to be attacked. And neither of those things sound particularly desirable, now do they?
Yep.
Here's the thing. He's very hard to kill. He's actually rather
All
durable,
right.
especially with the buff. The buff does make him more durable, so, even harder to kill. Also, he has a chance of retaliating when he's attacked, so if you punch him, there's a good chance that he's going to follow up by punching you, which will also build up his charge bar. So, that's actually pretty nice. You can notice the theme already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now then, just to give you some perspective, most of the moderate characters, their ults have around 400 to 800% scaling.
Okay.
Now, the characters with really good ults have a significantly higher scaling. But Wilness's skill, the one that he uses after literally every auto attack,
Mm-hmm.
has a scaling of 800. His skill literally does an amount equal to the mid-end for ult damage. And it has like a 6-turn cooldown, and he uses it after every auto, unless he uses his ult, in which case he doesn't auto, he ults. Now then, there's a third effect to his passive. After he ults, he follows up his ult with his other skill. His other skill is a big fuck-off AoE fireball attack that does 1200% scaling.
Okay.
To give you an idea, I'm pretty sure there are only like 3, maybe 4 ults in the game that have a higher scaling, and that's by 50%. His skill has the same amount of scaling as some of the strongest ultimates in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an AoE attack. It hits everything. You can notice his theme in combat now, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
He is very skill-focused. And he's also very ult-focused. Which, actually, I think that could be a good, like 4th or 5th playstyle, something like that. Actually focusing on your ults.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be nice? Because we can't do that. In the gacha, there are characters where a big part of their mechanic is the fact that they can double ult.
Okay.
Like Charlotta Grand. After turn 10, every time she ults, she just does it twice.
Interesting.
Yeah. She's just like, oh hey, I have full ult. I'm gonna use it twice. In the same turn. Because fuck you. Also, it resets all my skills cooldowns. Because fuck you. Also, I'm really durable.
Yep.
And my skill builds up my ult and gives it a 20% boost. And I can use it twice in a row after turn 10. She has a theme there. Charlotta Grand, after turn 10. She really picks up. I mean, she's already good before that, but she really shines after turn 10. Anyway, back to the dragon. The final effect that Wilness has going for him, after he uses his ult, and then proceeds to use the massive fuck-off skill. By the way, his is one of the ults that does more scaling than his skill. By about 50%.
Okay.
So, you get hit with the 1250% scaling ult, and then immediately that's followed up by the 1200% fireball to the face.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very powerful ult, and you get it very frequently. Very frequently. Like every third rat turn, essentially. If you're set up properly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the effect that he gets from using his ult, he gets a guaranteed triple attack. That one
All right.
restriction he has, it's removed.
Mm-hmm.
It only works for the one turn, but it's one hell of a turn. Because it hits hard. And is also followed up with the skill. So, he doesn't lose that. So I think he would be a fun addition,
Mm-hmm.
for the self-evident reasons just stated. Also, I think they could actually still implement him pretty faithfully to what I just said. Oh, also, all of their buffs are permanent. Like, you just apply them, and then until they die, they stick around.
Neat.
So, all of the dragons, their third skill is just permanent. There's no recasting needed. There's no duration, it's just the buff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think if they wanted to go the dragon route, which I think would be kind of cooler, because you could implement them alongside their raid. Because yes, they're also a boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
For Wilness specifically, I'm thinking until you're able to get your first ult, he would have a very simple combo. Like the longest one would be 4 buttons. Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they maintain the whole follow up his he would be very finisher oriented is what I would propose, because that feels fitting. But his finisher wouldn't be, some super empowered thing. It would be his massive claw slap that builds up his ult gauge and is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking early on he would have a very short combo string and have to build up his ult. And then after he gets his ult, that's when he gets empowered for X amount of time to have a, a very strong buff state, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a almost a pseudo id sort of thing, except more ult oriented instead of finisher oriented.
Yeah.
And mind you, this would be very nice because he could act as a battery.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also what Fairy does in the Gacha. She acts as an ult battery type character.
Mm-hmm.
She's a buffer. An ult oriented buffer. I'd really like some of that. It would make her useful in Relink.
Yep.
It would also be a nice alternative to have in Relink. It'd be really nice to have something that isn't finisher or mash or timing. Anyhow, I think Willness would probably be one of the easier ones to implement because sticking to his theming would be relatively easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest one to implement would probably be Airweir, who is the Wind Dragon. Or as you know him, Mr. Fluffles.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Airweir has a very nice dynamic going on with Cagliostro.
All right.
Because they're both fakers wearing fake bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Their banter's very entertaining. Especially when Airweir decides to be all prideful and arrogant. And point out how Cagliostro's kind of a fake meat suit. Cagliostro claps back with the obvious dragon LARPing as
Mm-hmm.
a cat. And yes, Airweir is just as... Airweir's personality is exactly what you would expect.
Yep. Yep.
Airweir acts like a royal fuzzy little fucker.
Yep.
the, the arrogance is amazing.
Fitting form, then.
Yes. Yes, she is. She... She very frequently refers to herself as the mighty, or the benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not wrong. The cat could just decide that you don't have breathing privileges anymore.
Yep.
It is the embodiment of wind, and is the only one that can confidently say has not grown weaker over time. Because it is the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Galleon's kind of reliant on the islands existing. Which makes me wonder why she isn't making more of them when she casually tosses them at people. Seriously, one of Galleon's primary conflict resolution methods is to throw an island at it.
It works.
That's also how her first interaction with Gran and Carlotta went. She was throwing islands at them.
Ah. It is a way to say hello.
Also, Charlotta somehow cut the islands in half. Like, okay, you know when Saitama punched the meteor in Season 1?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what she did to the islands that Galleon tossed at Kerr and Gran. Also, they somehow blocked one. Impressively, I might add, but...
Mm-hmm.
Also, Galleon is so large in dragon form that she literally makes the sky shake. She's a big girl. And she speaks in Cthulhu.
Yep.
Not in human form, mind you, but in your first interaction with her, which is apparently during Charlotta Gran's Fate episode. Kind of an odd place for your first introduction to Galleon, but, you know, canon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to question it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, she just speaks Cthulhu at you. Or in your general direction.
Interesting.
And then disappears after throwing islands at you, and that proceeds to not work. She's like, huh, I threw 2 of them at them, and they're not dead. Alright, bye.
Yep.
But, I'd say most of them would be easy. I think Wimdis would be one of the more interesting ones for them to implement. Because basically what she does is, she eats her ally's charge bar to power her own. I kind of don't remember how the rest of her kit works, but she's also very ult-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of a running theme with the dragons. 3 of them are very ult-oriented. But with Wimdis, she has double the charge bar, so she has 200%, not 100 like the rest of you plebs.
Mm-hmm.
And her primary way of filling it is by eating everyone else's.
Interesting.
And it is not a good ratio.
Mhm.
She basically eats a total of 60% to fill up her bar by about 40. Or was that the other way around? Either way, it's not great, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's 60 in total. She eats 15% from every teammate, and then powers up her own by 10 for each one that it was successful. And then she gets
Mm-hmm.
herself a buff. She also has a multi-hit skill that procs after something. Her ult does a shit ton of damage, though. It's one of the few that does more than 1200%. I think she would... Her and Airware would be the hardest ones to implement. Mind you, Airware would be hard for 2 reasons. First off, her kit is kind of a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'd have to add in a whole new status effect unless they add it in with Bubs, which isn't impossible. But they'd also have to make a functioning cat model,
Mm-hmm.
which I wouldn't be opposed to. Airware is a very fluffy kitty. So basically, Airware's function is, and this is going to be kind of a hodgepodge of both of them, because there are 2 variants of her,
Okay.
and they kind of don't mesh all that well, but they mesh in my head because it's the same character. And there isn't even a big distinction between the 2 of them, like I could say with the Holiday, or Yokata, or the special variant
Mm-hmm.
characters. No, it's just Cat 1 and Cat Grand. Anyhow, this is specifically for the Grand version. She has one of the weaker ults. It does a little bit of damage. She has a passive effect where she's perpetually being substituted.
All right.
So she can't take damage. Because the entire team is basically, you're not allowed to touch the Fluffy. And unironically, okay, I'm gonna pull up the wiki and just read off some of Airware's some of the descriptions for Airware are very entertaining. They're very funny. I'm scrolling down to find the pussy. Oh, also in my boat I have Colossus.
Okay.
That doesn't mean anything to you, I know, but still. Basically, it's a primal beast that's just a giant suit of armor.
Neat.
He's a crew member. I don't know where we store him in the ship, but he's there.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically an automaton primal.
Neat.
Whose weapon is listed as a katana, but looks like a
Oh,
sword.
okay.
There's the Fluffy. Why is the Fluffy so far down? Okay, do you want normal airwear or grand airwear?
Just go normal.
Okay. Grand is the upgraded version. God, he's so fucking cute. It's so fucking fluffy. Airwear is fluffy. This flawless creature with the sleekest coat of fur and an immeasurable amount of pride is very much a cat, indeed, a perfect cat, from head to tail who deserves the reverence of all, so the cat believes. Except the cat isn't a cat, but the emerald of the 6 dragons, who gave birth to the element of wind, refusing to turn into a common mortal, ere settle on the form of a creature loved and worshipped by all mortals. Or that was how it was supposed to go. But I kept getting scolded for playing pranks. How dare you, Singularity? I'm a cat! That's the character description.
Mm-hmm.
Can you find any flaws in this character so far? It's perfect. And this is normal
Mm-hmm.
airwear. Okay, it's normal. It's alt. 450% wind damage to everyone. 1 turn cut to all your skills cooldowns. This is already not going well. uh, the physical embodiment of wind, one of the strongest creatures in all of existence, in the world in question, has an ult that's only 450% scaling. To give you an idea, that's lower than Paradise Lost for the event Sandalphon. For the free Sandalphon that you get by just playing the game.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
And mind you, this is the Sandalphon variant. That is his weaker version that's still adapting to the Primarch powers and can only
Mm-hmm.
Paradise Lost every other ult. And this is weaker than that. I don't understand the names for the skills, but I'm going to try my best. Tepem. 7-turn cooldown. At a higher level 6 turn. It lasts for 3 turns.
Okay.
I'll let you pet me just this once. Grant hype to a wind ally who floofed airwear. Eremda M. The great airwear deserves your full attention. All wind allies gain snuggle. Attack is boosted, defense is boosted, double attack rate is boosted, triple attack rate is boosted, cannot be removed, lasts for 3 turns. Of all the ways to be forcibly snuggled, there are certainly worse things in the world. Stooge tel em pan. Is this how the Romans felt? Bar 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 bar. If you don't understand that, you haven't read enough history. There's a reason they were called barbarians. And no, it wasn't their behavior. It was their language. Because that's unironically what the Romans heard. Just bar. Anyway, time for a nap. Switch out with a sub-ally. This is one of the few ways in the game that I'm aware of that allows you to interact with your sub-ally without your character getting fucking domed.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really don't like it. Really feels like your sub-allies are just there for the oh shit. My team died. Send in the backup. They weren't supposed to go into battle, but I underestimated the enemy. That's how it feels. They're not actually a part of the team. They're, oh shit, I made a miscalculation. Also, when Airware switched out, grant hype for floofing Airware. Hype, by the way, is just one of the ways to get an attack boost. There are characters with very musical themes. Hype is what they use. I don't know. Why does Airware have this? Airware is a cat. And a dragon. Who forces you to snuggle it. Anyway, for its passive, you can't attack. You gain 30% charge bar every turn. The ally with the highest current HP substitutes for Airware. At the end of the turn, when Airware didn't take any damage, random ally can floof Airware and gain hype. And that passive is called Outrageous Cat.
Yep.
Now, life with a kitty. 20% boost to wind allies' dodge rate. Upon a wind ally dodging, restore their HP. Capped at 800. By the way, the regen effects are they're more valuable in the gacha than in this. But not by much. Actually, I think the regen effect is actually worse. Because that's per turn. At least this is per second. You can dodge things long enough to actually get value out of it. Yeah, all regen effects I've encountered, like per turn, the highest I've seen is like 800. I can get an effect from the Lucifer summon that can go up to like 1500 per. But 15 of 9, 1500 for 9,000. I mean, it's not terrible. But I have to use a Lucifer summon, and I can only do that once every 9 turns. So, you know, it's not great. And all the normal effects, the highest is like 800. Oh, also, there's an extended mastery. Restore all allies' HP upon using a charge attack. So does this character sound very good to you? Like, without knowing anything, based off of what I've said.
Not particularly.
Where do you think, ranking-wise, the character would be?
This doesn't really sound like there's really much going on with it.
Ranking-wise, they put Airware at about 9. It's right up there with the Eternals, but also that's literally... Mind you, this isn't like 9 to 10. This is... They go from 1.1 to 10. Airware's at 9. That's normal Airware, though. And it's adorable, so you know. It's okay. Except Airware Grand is even cuter. and has a little pair of wings on top of being a cat. Also, the artwork is a little bit better, but that's that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
And also more green, less normal cat, more mythical cat.
Mm-hmm.
Wind personified, the dragon who takes the title Airware the Emerald. Since the dawn of creation, the power of wind element she wields hasn't eroded. If anything, it has grown stronger. Much like a capricious breeze, she cannot be bound or captured. Indeed, Airware is a cat, a zephyr representing freedom itself. I kind of prefer the description of normal Airware, honestly. This one isn't bad, it's just less personal. It's just a little
Mm-hmm.
less character. Starting from the charge attack, Mach 3. Already off to a better start from the name. Except, it does exactly the same amount of damage. 450% scaling to a foe. A. Also activates wind speed 222 meows. No, you don't get to know what that does yet. Appallingly adorable. Fuck, we went from incoherent to puns. I think I'll take the barbarian speak back. Anyway, the cat decides to be adorable, and for 5 turns,
Mm-hmm.
inflicts charm on all other wind allies, inflicts charm on all foes, and gains dodge all for 1 time. Does not sound very appealing, given what I told you what charm does.
Yep.
Charm can deny you a turn. It can also not do that, but it can deny you a turn. Depends on if you're lucky or not. It's also really funny when the boss uses it and is a hunk, and you have a team full of women. That's more for meta reasons, but you know, it's still funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny when the hunk of a demon angel decides to charm your full female team. It's also rather concerning because that usually wouldn't end well for the hero. That's also probably the plot line for no small amount of pornos. Anyway, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Wind speed 222 meows. Why 222? This poor cat needs a lot of water. That's a lot of meowing. Anyway, 5 hits, 150% wind damage to a random foe with a damage cap of 155,000 per hit. 1 turn cut to all foes' buff durations and gain 20% charge. That is a very long turn cooldown for your core ability. I don't like that. Why is that 8 turns cooldown? I get that you use it after your ult, which is nice, but... Also, its skill does more than its ult. Not including the damage cap, her skill does more than her ult. 5 hits of 155,000 versus 450%. 150% 5 times or 450%? Which would you pick? Five times. That's gonna do more. That's 550. Anyhow. And here is Airware's passive. What? What is that pixel art? Oh, that's Airware's dragon form. Why does Airware and dragon form look like a peacock? Crossed with a Quetzalcoatl. Crossed with a peacock. Also a little bit of Secretary Bird in the face. Anyway, animals aside, Airware's dragon form is really lanky. Anyway. All, Airware gives herself the permanent buff, attack, defense, multi-attack rate, bonus wind damage effect, random buff to other allies at end of turn. Does this one still have the can't attack thing? No. Okay, so this is actually useful. What are the attack animations for the cat? It's a cat! Is it like the other cat that's part of the crew, where it just claw swipes the enemy? Oh, by the way, there is actually a cat that's canonically part of the crew. Like a proper cat, not the dragon cat. Just a normal cat. It had an entire side story dedicated to it. There was a whole cat mafia. And they were
I can believe it.
And they were all held prisoner by an old woman in her dungeon.
Yep.
Also, for some reason, they could talk. Not to the humans, mind you, but to each other. That one was a weird one. Also, the bosses.
Sounds like it.
Also, the bosses you fight for the side story stuff for the crew are not what you fight in the story, and that's like the only time where that happens. In the side story, it's all just cats fighting other cats, which I kind of didn't like. For the actual event fights that you do to get the stuff, it was all these weird mechanized cat robot murder machines. It really came out of left field. I was not expecting to have a laser shooting jaguar robot.
I don't even know what to say for that.
Mind you, that was the event fight for the story that is set on an island where the only person is an elderly woman who has imprisoned all of the felines in her basement. And the entire plot of the story is getting the hell out of the basement as you follow the story of the cat. Like I said, things get kinda weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure more things will come up as I continue talking, but I can't think of any immediately. There was that tentacle demon.
Of course.
Mind you, it was actually sentient and wanted to, like, destroy the world. But it only got there because demon worship. It was also summoned by a woman. She actually had pretty nice tits, too. Anyway, I'm pretty sure she's dead now. Or at the very least, perpetually in prison. Yeah, that happened because Siegfried had to stop some bitch from being perpetually young. So basically there was a primal who was able to extract something from the local true dragon, and with that thing, the primal beast could make basically an elixir of eternal, a youth elixir. And the main antagonist of that is some power tripping bitch who got the previous king killed. I say killed. She murdered him, pinned it on Sig. He goes to live most of his life uncovering her bullshit and greatly inconveniencing her. Eventually, things work out. Lance stops being a petulant child and blaming Sig for the death of the previous king
Mm-hmm.
because it was stupid and obviously a ruse. And she goes from actually decent looking to withered old crone in like a day or three. Years really caught up with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, the reason why they stopped the Eternal Youth thing was because they're sort of kind of created a super poison as a byproduct, and they couldn't just keep storing it, so Eternal Youth Lady was having the super poison just kind of dumped in a river that was really far away.
Mm-hmm.
And then anytime the victims of the poisoned water had the audacity to hobble themselves out of their little village to complain about the poisoning, she arrested them and held them in an underground dungeon.
Yep.
And then said they all died. She was a bitch.
Sounds like it.
And then entered a lesbian relationship with a knight who was trying to undermine the empire from within by summoning demons into its halls. And
Interesting.
and Sig, Lancelot, and Percy stuff have proven quite interesting, even though compared to like Sandolphins, it's very low stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because all their stuff is very individual. It's very like only one island at most is being affected. Sandolphin walked into a room and he's already responsible for the death of 3 islands. That's the difference in scale there.
Yep.
They're still both well done. Anyhow, back to the cat. All your praise belongs to me. Immune to Charmed. Charmed doesn't stop Wind allies from attacking. Wind allies with Charmed get a 30% boost to attack, 100% boost to defense, 100% boost to double attack rate, 30% boost to triple attack rate, and 10% bonus wind damage. Not half bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know how much the attack boosts matter in this, by the way. I am still ostensibly what you would call the early game. Like I said, most of my weapons are level 40. The only
Mm-hmm.
reason I'm beating a lot of stuff in the game is because I can call people and they kill it for me. Hey, it's not my fault the game makes the raids work that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to capitalize on it via joining their raids that I have no right to
Mm-hmm.
be in or have unlocked. And then also calling them because I can do that.
Yep.
Admittedly, the Unite and Fight one it's proving to be an event I don't really like. It's very clan-oriented. There's just one problem. I am a clan of one, and that one person is me. I'm not getting much out of this event, is what I'm saying. The biggest rewards in the event are being denied to me because
Mm-hmm.
I have no friends and I'm all alone and the usual.
Yep.
I don't interact with your Silly online people. I don't like them. They're made of humans. I'll stick with the cat. Speaking of the cat, Limitless Emerald. Upon activating a Fated Chain, that's basically a different type of ult. There are two types of ult in the game. The normal ones that are linked to the characters that we're familiar with, and then the one you generate by using the ones we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ult for your ult. It's also team-oriented, so, you know. That's another theme with all the dragons. They all have something that interacts with that mechanic. There's one minor problem. The majority of things in the game do not even have that mechanic available to them.
Mm-hmm.
There are a select number of raids and fights where that is something you can actually use. Those select number are the minority.
Yep.
They are also not available to me. Wilness and Fidel have not been getting their full value. That's how I will put it. And then for their extended mastery. This is basically just after you max out their level, you can get more shit. Restore all allies' HP upon using 222 meows. So what do you think of this variant of the kitty?
Interesting.
It's quite different from the other one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You see why I was quite confused?
Mm-hmm.
It's... Do you see why I think this one would be the hardest for them to implement in Relink?
Yeah.
Because either variant, mind you, they would kind of have to go with a combination of both, most likely, or just something completely original. I wouldn't be opposed to that either. But anyway, between making the kitty work, like as a model, I would imagine its attack animations would be just the kitty floating around and shooting puffs of air at the enemy or something like that. That's what seems right. Maybe not puffs,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like air, claw-shaped air slashes. That'd probably be more in theme, Wind Dragon and all. Oh! That's another effect of Wilness's passive. He can't take any debuffs. That's nice. Oh, hey. Isn't that something? Upon activating a Fated Chain, deal fire damage to all foes, dealing roughly half of his ult worth of damage. Instantly gain his ult. 100%, 150% damage to his ult. 90% damage cap for his ult. Minor buff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of them have something related to the Fated Chain thing. He also has a Halloween version. It is functionally exactly the same. Un- Unlike Airware, there is functionally no difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a weaker version that does light damage. The passive is worse. It has a duration. And he doesn't even have an extended mastery effect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, he can gain double strike. That's nice, I guess. Upon activating... Nah, never mind. Requires him to activate a fated chain. Oh, well, hey, his skill is arguably better. It inflicts a supplementary damage stackable. Basically, it's a
Hmm.
debuff that when the enemy gets hit with it, they take supplementary damage. That's a thing. It's why Galleon in a bikini is as strong as she is. Don't question. Don't question these things. Don't question why Raziel in a bikini is one of the strongest characters. Oh, speaking of Raziel, she's an Archangel. Um, no, she doesn't appear in the Archangel storyline. No, I don't know where she appears narratively at all. But she's a character that exists. She's basically the Archangel of oddities, weird
Hmm.
shit. Um, she records everything, everything. She has a magic book. Okay, now I'm going to describe to you what what she is functionally on my board, like in a
All right.
team, like what she does.
Hmm.
She is a very big-tittied, uh, bikini-clad, winged woman with a magic book, and she pulls out a handheld minigun from the book.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
she shoots enemies with the handheld minigun while floating. What
So it's
element do you
normal.
what element do you think this woman is? Of the six,
Well, she wins.
Earth actually. Earth.
I
Earth.
was expecting something a bit more out there.
Also her event version, the free one, probably free anyway. Her normal variant, it's light, same as Sandy.
Hmm.
Anyhow, I just figured that'd be. I figured I should mention her when I thought of her.
Hmm.
Solid character, great addition to my Earth team. It's really fucking funny how the entirety of my Earth team is just bikini-clad women. It just happened, okay?
Oh, and that's not a insignificant number of what they've got. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I have one of the colored knights, whose armor is her bikini. She decided to go without the armor, despite the fact that her function in the world, like her role, is the Black Knight, and she is distinguished by the fact that she never goes out in public except entirely clad in the midnight black armor.
Hmm.
She's also Yugen's daughter,
Oh.
and is as rebellious and uncooperative as you would expect from that description. She's she is a character. She
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
profoundly willful, profoundly uncooperative, very headstrong,
Yep.
not big on the whole talking, treats Yugen like shit. Admittedly, he did kind of abandon her on that island, and her mother, and couldn't even be bothered to come back when said mother died. Apollo didn't really have a father, is what I'm getting at. There's one of the lines that sticks out is you lead an interesting life when you don't have when you don't have a father. She said that directly to Yugen. She holds grudges, is what I'm getting at. She's quite. She's a character. She's the kind of woman I would not want to associate with. Anyhow, oh yeah, she also has a giant hat. Not the Black Knight in a bikini, Raziel. You also unlock her via the weapon that is an umbrella. The umbrella is a gun.
Okay, then.
Uh, okay, no, they're consistent with that. I was just wondering if they were consistent with her bust size, because it seems weirdly... Look, they're really fucking big on her, and the bikini is really emphasizing that, so... It looks smaller in her normal form, but that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... There's more than a bikini top, so it's a little harder to tell. Anyway, water, dark, light, or earth?
For what?
Hmm?
For what?
The dragons, since I'm going through them. And I keep
We
getting...
can put that off for another time. I'm gonna top off and make something to eat.
You bastard.
I have not eaten anything yet today, and I'm feeling it now.
Weakling. You telling me you can go 3 days without sleep, but you can't go an hour without food? Pathetic. Good talk. I wish we had more to talk about other than my shenanigans here and you casually turning the local sun blacksmith into a black hole generator.
Yeah, main things that I can just I'd be able to talk about right now would just be like the Warhammer stuff with Champions of Undeath and my
Which would,
thoughts on that as a whole.
which would be something.
Or like the recent-ish stuff on BG3 and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. Although I can find out a lot about frankly, both of those on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm going to anytime soon. I don't really want to re-download Baldur's Gate 3,
Yep.
and I don't really
It
want
does
to...
itself no favors by being so agonizingly big.
At least Warhammer 3, had the good graces of cutting down half of its vault somehow. Okay, not
Yep.
half, it was like a third.
Still.
Still.
It cut down the needed space by quite a bit.
I want to know how the hell they did that.
An excellent question.
Because that to me just sounds like you had 40 gigabytes of waste. And
Hmm.
that is really not a that's really not a good reflection on you.
Hmm.
Although it is CA we're talking about. So, yeah, that to be expected. But yeah, as far as Larian games are concerned, I'd rather get a modded run of DOS 2 actually past
Hmm.
Act 3. Hell, into Act 3. That would be nice.
We did get one to Act 3.
Yeah, but
It's just that things got rather unceremoniously cut off by the fact that the ring wraith in front of the academy completely stopped anything from happening.
that wasn't a ring wraith. That was Isildur.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't just a ring wraith.
So,
So, I ought to have you flogged just for that. Have to maintain morale amongst the troops. Flog the blasphemer. Oh god, what did you just send me? I'm concerned. What is with you and decapitating Karlak? In multiple colors as well.
yeah, two different playthroughs.
We have the white dragon in paladin armor, and then we have a ball worshipper. Okay, you wanna know what makes this even worse? With how the contrast and the saturation on this monitor is that I'm looking at, I can't even see the dragon's lips. Like I can barely see the tip of them, but I have to work to see the line between the jaws.
Hmm. It is really funny that the current strongest weapon that Skirby's made is just upgrading the Everburn,
I'm okay with that. You know what? I'm
because
okay with that.
it doesn't have much going on for abilities on it, but it has a load of passives.
I'm okay with this.
The biggest things to note are the fact that it will go from applying burn on every hit to applying roiling hellfire on every hit to applying melting on every hit.
Both are very good.
So, and it reapplies the damage from those each time.
Good, good,
So,
good.
once you're at level 10, like, yeah, I think either level 10 or level 12, either one, but you're just getting a 6d10 added to every single swing.
Good, 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 good. Not busted at all.
Also, if you crit the enemy, you create a lava surface under them.
Even better.
Also, you have the magma elementals regen effect while you're in lava.
Even better. Do you have guaranteed critical hits when you're in lava too, just to, double down?
No, but you do
Lame.
have a reduced crit threshold whenever you're hitting a burning target.
I guess that's close enough. It's not
Like
not
I
quite
think it
the
reduces it by two.
It's not quite the Everglade, it's guaranteed crit, but it's close enough.
So yeah,
I'm okay with this. Also, let's be real here. Outside of very specific modded weapons, how often do we use the weapon skills anyway? It's it's
not that often.
it's better just to have the passives.
Ultimately, they can only be used once per battle anyway, so
Yeah,
longer fights, it just doesn't really matter.
longer fights. Screw longer fights. Just multiple in a row. Just
Well,
just
any of
play.
the scurvy weapons will just be per battle rather
Ugh.
than per short or long rest.
Yeah, I'm thinking more than normal weapons though. Because yeah, you
Hmm.
play the way we do, you're really never going to be using those things.
Yeah.
Might be lucky if it's once every 20 battles.
Hmm.
Yeah, hated that so much. Oh, the ones per battle thing's not great, but it's a lot better than
At least
that.
the skills are good enough to warrant it.
Yeah, yeah. Still rather play an Owlcat game, but hey.
Yep.
Look, that's the difference between 5E and 3E for Pathfinder.
Hmm.
God, imagine if Wrath of the Righteous was co-op.
That'd be nice.
Oh well,
Yep.
I'll let you eat.
Hmm.
You have fun doing that. Nutrient-dependent peasant.
So yeah.
See ya.